again. So I'm Jennifer Schenker, founder and co-editor-in-chief of Informilo, and I'm really pleased to be here today with Mike Jaconi. So for those of you who don't know Mike, I think it's worth just taking a minute to talk about his background. Before he took on his current job, he was an executive officer with Japan's Rakuten. He was also the CEO in charge of their loyalty program. And he was in charge of their M&A and made a $100 million investment into Pinterest, which really put Rakuten on the map of the tech industry. And despite, all of these accomplishments and big titles, he decided to take a risk and start a brand new company a short time ago called Button, because he is convinced that this may become the major mode of revenue generation on mobile. So here to tell us about his new venture, Button, and all about a new area called contextual commerce. Let's talk about what you're doing now.
Awesome. So thanks, everybody. So Button's thesis and what we were starting with when we started the company was really the supposition that, if you look at the mobile landscape today and you see the experiences that are emerging, mobile is really the first form factor that we've seen where experience has to win. The screen size, the fact that, on a device this big, every pixel really does matter. And when you think about that, you think about the traditional forms of monetization. The traditional forms of monetization, for most companies in the web world has been driven through advertising. And in the mobile world, you're seeing a proliferation of, a general distaste for ads as we know them. And you see that in the headlines by the popularity of ad blockers. And you see it, as yourselves, as your consumers navigating around the various mobile experiences that you have. The truth is that the traditional display unit or the traditional advertising model that we've come to know and depend on is really facing some challenges. And so Button's thesis was really to try and build something better. It was looking at the world and saying, never before have we had something in our pockets so powerful that has enabled us to be connected all the time, to be the touch of a button or two away from a transaction at any moment. And that really was going to emerge or create the possibility of a new model. And that new model is one that you're seeing a lot of the largest platforms out there talk about, a lot of the most innovative companies focus on, and that's really this model of contextual commerce, popularized in a lot of ways by buy buttons. And you're seeing those everywhere. And so what Button's core thesis was, can we try and sit and provide app developers, publishers, a new form of monetization that ultimately makes that publisher or that developer proud, allows them to give their customers an experience that they don't think is detracting from the app experience or the web experience in mobile that they've invested so much time and effort in. And what that meant was, can we build a platform that can understand what a consumer's intent is for or directed towards at any given moment, and show them a button that can satisfy what that intent is. And we do that today on behalf of Uber, Airbnb, OpenTable, Ticketmaster. And so we've had a very fortunate run of going after the companies that we're inspired by and saying, hey, can we, in a very tongue-in-cheek way, can we create buttons for you? But ultimately what it means is, can we go out there and try and infer when consumers have intent for your services, and in those moments, try and bring them into you.
Can you give us a concrete example of
Absolutely.
how this works?
So today, if you guys use any location or local discovery services, you may know of Foursquare. Foursquare, great product company, and when we went and talked to them. We said, hey, your consumers right now are looking at venues, at restaurants, at places that they want to go. And what we can do is we can help bring your customers to those locations by tapping into Uber. Or if they're looking at restaurants and Button's platform identifies that the restaurant they're looking into or reviewing or investigating going to later, if that restaurant's in the OpenTable marketplace, then we can then show a button to allow them to seamlessly book a reservation through OpenTable. So in all those cases, what we're trying to do, whether it's post an airline booking and wanting to then go book your Airbnb, or looking at a restaurant and wanting to go and ultimately make a booking there or order delivery, what we're doing is we're trying to infer what you want as a customer and then allow you to tap into that, giving the companies that have the users the ability to tap into a new monetization stream that isn't your traditional ads-based model. And what we've seen in the data that we've developed and ultimately driven over the past 18 months since we started the company is that the engagement of the users that interact with Buttons is far higher, that the conversion rates of Buttons versus the traditional ad units that you see out there is much higher. And so we think we're building an experience that ultimately will contribute to a higher lifetime value over the length of the customer's lifetime with these applications and publishers. And that's really what we're trying to do.
So the business model works so that, when the app developer gets a cut, Button gets a cut, and then the whoever is providing the service gets a cut.
Yep.
So if I'm an app developer and I'm sitting out here in this room right now, what do I have to do to become a Button?
Yeah, so there's two paths. We have a two-sided marketplace. We build buttons on behalf of those companies I listed before. And now if you're a developer and you're seeking new ways to engage your consumers, build experiences that can monetize, but also give experiences that will fulfill your customers' intent. Depending on what you do, depending on the category of app that you've built or mobile service that you've built, we can provide you the opportunity to integrate with all these great companies in a matter of minutes. And so our marketplace exposes connections into all those companies, and the integration takes you less than 10 minutes to be up and running with these full-fledged partnerships with all these great companies. So it's a really exciting thing. And for those of you that are researching the tech industry and looking into the various kind of developments in mobile, a lot of what we're building is designed on top of a deep linking protocol, the ability to ultimately enable links into apps that is not just in the front door of an app, but actually to the product page that you're looking for, or showing you the inventory for Airbnbs in a city that you're traveling to. And we have the ability with the Button platform to transfer context from one app experience to another. So if you look at a specific restaurant inside of Foursquare, we would open that restaurant's booking page within OpenTable. So it's trying to make the app world feel a little bit more connected, a little bit more like the web.
So you mentioned integration with some of Silicon Valley's biggest names. What about Europe?
Yeah, so, the companies, and a lot of the big ones that we signed up front, Uber, Airbnb, OpenTable, Ticketmaster, they all provide services that are international. So if you download Foursquare today, you can actually, see what our integrations look like with Uber. And then also, very excitingly today, we're announcing the launch of a partnership that powers deep link connections and commerce into Delivery Hero's subsidiary Hungry House. So now if you're a UK Foursquare user and you're looking at any restaurants that are in the Delivery Hero network in the UK market, you can immediately go and order your dinner delivery starting in that Foursquare experience. So it's a very exciting partnership because Delivery Hero is one of the largest and most progressive companies in the food space in the entire world, and so it's a big honor to be again partnering with one of the category leaders.
You mentioned early on that the company's still pretty young.
Yep.
You're just getting started. How much venture capital have you raised?
Right around $15 million. So yeah, we're about 18 months old and raised about $1 million a month is what I jokingly say, but about $15 million so far.
Okay. And can you talk about why you think this will become the major revenue generator on mobile?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you look at experience, and you'll see in a moment, an experience that Button powers with our new launch with Delivery Hero and Foursquare, mobile really demands better experiences. And so we think that that's an emerging trend that will continue. If you think about some of the challenges inherently that mobile has, the traditional advertising world or model isn't showing the amount of efficacy that you need to show. Consumers aren't really excited about a lot of the ads that they interact with. And then you pair that with the challenges of discovery in the mobile app world. And if we think about that, really the only way that you can be discovered in the app world is to be, on a top 10 chart, or to have a consumer input your app name directly into a query, or for a friend to refer you. And so inherently there's a discovery challenge there. And what we're trying to do is build a new framework for discovery and make transitioning between applications and really services in mobile a whole lot easier. And so that's really where we think this opportunity lies. If we look at the size of market, regardless of what you compare us to, whether it's the traditional web affiliate model or the subset of advertising that is native or whatever you want to call this, mobile's bigger than anything that's come before it. And frankly, what we are trying to develop is a solution that gives publishers and developers an alternative way to monetize their experiences that they can look at and be really proud of.
Okay, great. Well, so I think we're going to now get to take a look at what this looks like. Can we roll the
So here's an example, and this is the newest partnership, powering hungry houses ordering directly from the Foursquare experience. What it enables in this case is a very seamless transition into the Play Store to facilitate the installation of the app. What's nice about this is that, of course, everybody knows app conversion is significantly higher than mobile web conversion. In addition, when the consumer has adopted this Hungry House application in this case, the likelihood that they're going to come back and make another purchase is very high. And so if you think about your traditional acquisition budget, historically, app developers have had to acquire consumers into mobile web as their primary channel because deep linking didn't exist. And now, with this experience that we just showed, you can actually contextually link into an app in a way that makes your origination of intent to fulfillment of intent something that's very simple. And what Button's Marketplace has been showing is that by having this contextualized flow where the install is facilitated and then the deep link facilitates the appropriate page within that app opening after the install, the conversion rates when that happens are significantly higher than any advertising onboarding programs. And so that's really what we're seeing stand out in terms of data that the platform's starting to exhibit.
Great. Thank you, Mike. We're out of time, so please give Mike a nice round of applause.
Thank you.